Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We are joined by our friends Jodie Randisi and Lester Young. We're talking about Ridgeland Correctional Facility today. And this is such a great story, such an exciting story. And Lester, just as an aside, you're going to be speaking at TEDx Hilton Head on the 14th. The roster for TEDx, we're going to get to that today as well. But roster is amazing. Jodie, you're a volunteer. And the population you volunteer with is the incarcerated. And so what I find fascinating is that it's not young women, it's not at-risk youth, it's men.
This is true.
You know, it's
convicted male criminals. And I've had people ask me, why, Jodie, are you working with criminals? Why are you wasting your time, talent, and treasure? Why not go back to the schools? And I'll tell you the answer to that question, Carrie. The answer is, when you go in as a prison volunteer, you are so appreciated. You are like a celebrity. And in order to teach a class, these guys have been vetted, they're interested in their personal development, so they're committed, and the classroom is a dream come true for an educator.
So really the soil
you're
walking into, you know, sometimes we talk about planting seeds, but really you got to till that soil, and you got to make that dirt ready for those seeds.
And when you see the light bulb come on and you see transformation taking place and they take their mess that they have of a early legacy and turn it around, that's so rewarding, and so that's why I encourage people to consider prison volunteering.
Sure. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the structure of what it is you do. So it's a class you offer, or tell us a little bit about how you do that, and then how you get it done. I mean, it's not costless to
No,
to make
every
a class,
Wednesday
you know?
I tell people, I'm in prison, you can't touch me, I'm in prison, but they do let me out. But it's fun because in the morning I do the class, the life coaching class, and those guys are very committed to personal development, like I said, and even more so are the guys that show up for my Toastmaster clubs.
Okay.
There's 3 in the state, and these gentlemen, I call them my kids, are dedicated to becoming a Lester Young, who is a motivational speaker, who has his life together and a purpose that makes sense, even though his circumstances were pretty raw.
That's very true.
That's fabulous.
That's very true.
So through the vehicle of education and Toastmasters, and you know, I always tell my nieces and nephews and my own child that we're judged by the way we speak, and we're judged by the way we write.
Yes.
And it's really important to have that skill to be able to communicate. So Toastmasters is just a fabulous avenue for that. So talk a little bit about is what you want to see happen.
I'm going to tell you that this is who they want to become. And so Lester, you should tell
us a little bit about who
story. How did you become this?
I would say
become?
I'm really humbled by that. But what happened with me at about 19 years old, I made some very bad choices. I call it my 182nd poor choices. And that 180 seconds caused me to make a decision that I took a human being's life over a drug dispute. And I was sentenced to life in prison at the age of 19. And I ended up serving a total of 22 years inside of a prison system. And during that time, this is where I found my redemption, found purpose, found a way to honor the person that I took from this earth. You know, that was something that I knew that I have to do in order for me to live a different life. And inside of prison, as you mentioned, the soil is good, but I had to do some deep introspection and finding a sense of peace and direction in prison. Before I can do anything else, I had to find a way to honor and respect not only my victim, but his family and my family. And that came with a lot of personal development. And from there, during the course of the time, I found some things that I saw value inside of prison, which I call my 5 stages of incarceration. And I started teaching these particular principles to the men inside of prison to help them find their own personal redemption, to escape their mental prison. We were in prison for a long period of time, but I realized that you can break away from the mental prison, and that's where we begin building these relationships.
And that's called your path.
My path to redemption.
Yes. And that's what you're going to be speaking about TEDx on the 14th.
Yes.
And you wrote a book?
Yes, I wrote a book called The 5 Stages of Incarceration. It's basically a framework to help men inside of prison find their own individual path to redemption, find personal development, growth in prison through helping with the assistance of volunteers coming into the system, helping you with all of the needed materials that you need to grow, take advantage of that. But I look at my 5 stages of incarceration as helping push off all of the bad soil so that when volunteers like Jodie and others come into the prison system, the soil is rich and individuals actually can now grow and be planted
Get
and be
that rich soil,
so-
get that tilled up, right?
Yeah,
You got
so
to
that's
get rid of
basically
the
what it
stuff
is.
that doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Clean house, get rid of the
I
stuff.
will tell you, the best thing I read in his book was about the criminal mindset. And I recognize now that I've been doing this for several years that there are inmates who are kind of playing the game to do their thing.
Not everybody wants the path of redemption.
It's prison.
Yeah.
But I actually have discernment about those, like Lester, who have a turning point, have had the revelation that I'm not going to waste any more time. That the time that I have been given from, I call it a timeout from society, is my gift.
Absolutely, and you're bringing the right horses to the right water. And we are out of time. I can talk to you guys all day. Thank you so much for being with us. And we're going to find out more information about your program and best wishes with
Appreciate
TEDx Hilton. There's so much that's going to be happening in both of y'all's lives. I'm so excited.
Cool.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Carrie.
We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town.